Hi there, I'm David Arundel, otherwise known as the Extraordinary Tourist, and welcome to part 3 of my behind the scenes vlog videos documenting the creation of this artwork behind me here. If you haven't seen the other 2 episodes, you may like to go back and watch those first so that you can see where this painting has come from, and then come back to this video and see how it progresses. The plan this video is to block in my cat, which, as I said in the last video, both cats are mostly white, this one being a Siamese cat, so it'll be cream white, and this one being just a basic white cat. So I'll be blocking in the white paint for both of them, and then once I've blocked in the white, I'll see how productive I'm feeling and maybe do a little bit more, but I'm not going to rush this painting. I'm just going to take my time, and if this takes another episode to get it done, then so be it. I'm not going to spend too much time talking now. Let's just get into it and get on with painting this artwork. Okay, so I've got my white in my palette here, and I wish I could say I had a solid plan for what I'm going to be doing on here, but I don't really. I just have a sense that both these cats are white and I want to fill them in, but I don't want to fill them in with solid white. Again, as I've said in previous videos, I like my paintings to look like paintings, and part of the reason why I do all my rough sketching in red and underneath like this and put all this underpainting on is that I want these layers to come through and become a part of the overall painting, so that you can see some of these brush strokes coming through into the surface, and it makes it all generally look more like a painting and a lot less like a coloured picture, if you like. One thing I am doing with this is that I'm basing the colour scheme quite heavily on a painting that I've completed many years before that you can see in my Redbubble store called Shakira, and that painting is basically a Siamese cat looking up at a bird that's flying around. And if you compare this background with that painting, you'll see it's very similar. The tones are similar. It's got this yellow going through here. That particular painting, the background is fairly unique in the way it was done, in that it's more striped, whereas in other paintings I've tended to go more of a radial gradient coming out from the centre. And also in that painting you'll see there's a lot of the background coming through on the cat itself. I haven't completely filled the entire cat up with white paint, so I'm sort of trying to do that here, but whether it works or not we'll see. There's a lot of yellow in here that will probably need to be covered up because it's just too yellow. It's not this sort of yellow that you see in the background here. I'll see how I go and we'll just get started. And obviously you have to be quite careful with white because it's a colour, or in some definitions it's not a colour, but just in the broad sense it's a colour that will paint over other colours quite easily. So we don't want to sort of completely block in and block out all the underpainting just with white. As well, at this stage I do have to tighten up the lines a little bit. I can't be going out into the background with these really rough lines. I want to start getting my edges of where the cats are to be more defined, so becoming more cohesive, I guess might be the word, of bringing the shapes together and making these look like actual cats and less like sketches. So at the start of this process I said that I only use 3 colours to create all of my painting, and so this is kind of an example of that. Obviously those 3 colours, as I said in the first episode, are the primaries: red, blue, yellow, and then white and black. So for my Siamese cat I don't want to do it completely white, otherwise it'll blend too much with the cat behind. So I'm just mixing up a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red into my white to hopefully get some kind of a cream colour. I would not say I'm an expert at mixing colours, even though I've been to art school and done quite a lot on colour theory and stuff. For the most part I'm just working with the same basic knowledge that most people know. Things like yellow and blue make green and red and blue make purple. And then every other colour is sort of a variation on those, and then you can either add white or black to lighten or darken each of those tones to get the rest of your full palette of colours. That's really all you need to know about colour mixing, and it's just a matter of knowing or estimating your ratios for each. You can see I've got hardly any yellow and hardly any red, and that's way too much of both to be going into this. And I think I mainly want yellow to get this into a sort of cream territory, but Siamese cats tend to be a creamy brown, so the red is to push it more towards the orange. I may end up needing a spot of blue, but I may be able to get away with it, given that this background is mostly red and that light would be reflecting on the cat, giving the Siamese cat perhaps more of an orangey cream colour rather than a brown cream colour, but we'll see. I'm going to start mixing this stuff in, see what happens, and it's only going to be very subtle. Still want it to be quite white, try mixing in a bit of, probably go too pink in the end. I'll probably have to put a little bit more yellow into it. See, already that's way too much red in there. I'm definitely going to have to lean in with more yellow. There we go, getting more yellow back into that to bring it back from being pink. And sort of getting it kind of into the orange area. It's a little bit hard to tell in this light because I've got these curtains here and the light coming through those is sort of reflecting onto here, but you can see that's a bit more of an orangey colour, orange cream, so that's about what I had in mind. So let's see how we go. Painting our Siamese cat with that. I'll probably end up adding more white to it, but these areas around here will be more in this cream colour, and then we'll probably get white highlights on here, I would imagine. But certainly we don't want all this yellow in this cat here. It's a bit too yellow for my liking. And also we don't want to completely cover the brush strokes underneath. We don't want to have completely flat colour either. So I'm happy with that as it is now. I might leave it there for this particular session. I just want this to dry out a bit before I go a bit further, and I want to give myself a bit of thinking time just to solidify in my head what I want to do next in terms of getting these cats together. I think they're actually getting pretty close. We're getting, as you can see, we've got all the colour blocked in there now. It's now just a case of refining this, blocking in this cat's face and all the Siamese features where it's all sort of all dark brown and black, and then it will be a case of adding in details, highlights and those kinds of things and just refining it, and the painting should be done. So we're not that far away. I could keep going with this and maybe get it finished if I wanted to, but as I said, I like to keep doing these things at a leisurely pace. If I really wanted to, I could get a whole painting done in a day, and that's what I used to do back when I was painting cat. But I don't want to burn myself out. I like painting. I don't want to stress myself out and sort of put myself off doing these again, because it's a really good way to just relax and get me away from screens and stuff. So, yeah, we'll leave that there. So there we go, that's it for this episode. As you can see, both cats are now blocked in with their main colour. It may not seem like I did a whole lot in this particular vlog, but this is a fairly major stage complete. From here on in, pretty much all I have to do is work on the Siamese cat, getting in the dark colours, and then starting to incorporate detail and tighten everything up. So there's a very good possibility that the next episode this painting will be completed. But I'm happy with how it's going. I hope you've got something out of this. If you are interested in seeing more of my cat artworks, including the ones I did back in the mid to late 2010s, the right time, between 2006 and 2010 anyway. You can see those in my Redbubble shop and buy prints of those and all my cat artworks in that shop. I'll put a link on the screen and in the description. And until the next video, I will see you later. Bye for now.